So it has finally happened. A developer has finally thrown dirt at Game Pass and their game being on Game Pass. Now this is a very interesting story and we're going to see whose side you're on, Microsoft or the developer side, after I give you all the details. So comment down below, subscribe. I'm building a little community here. It would be cool if you subscribed. And comment down below what you think about this situation, because it is quite weird. It's kind of like, to me, it's kind of like some, I don't know, an ex-girlfriend, a bitter ex-girlfriend or something. Like, because they are no longer with Microsoft and now they're complaining about their game being on Game Pass. So we're going to get into it here and see just what is happening and who it is. So I'll just tell you right now, it is Moon Studios. They are the developers behind Ori and the Blind Forest, as well as Ori and the Will of the Wisps. And they're coming out with No Rest for the Wicked pretty soon here, and it looks very good. It looks like Diablo. But they have always, at least for the Ori games, Ori and the Blind Forest and the Will of the Wisps were exclusive to Microsoft and I believe PC, and they were Moon Studios, they were partnered with Microsoft, and it was always like a Microsoft exclusive. It was never on PlayStation. And the Ori games are still not on PlayStation. Now, I've played the first one, and it was very good, a beautiful 2D platformer game, but it did get repetitive pretty quickly, though. It eventually, but it was nonetheless, it was still a good game. And they are no longer with Microsoft. About 2 years ago, they parted ways with Microsoft, or Microsoft parted ways with them. And it sounds like Microsoft were the ones who parted ways with them, and Ori is the bitter ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend. It is supposedly because there were rumors that Microsoft wanted to purchase Moon Studios altogether, and the CEO or the head of the studio did not want that. Now those are just rumors. But also the main reason was because Microsoft would have developers over there helping them out, and apparently that studio was a very toxic work environment and they bullied the Microsoft employees, and Phil Spencer was having none of it, and they dropped Moon Studios. So I'm going to get into a little article. Right? Well, it's not even an article. This is just saying how they parted ways, and I already told you what it was about. So right here, you can see this image. See if I can make it bigger here. So, Moon Studios, they had I don't know if this was a tweet. Yeah, it's a tweet. It says, "Our first time on PlayStation, No Rest for the Wicked." And they made a post about their new game, No Rest for the Wicked. Someone down here put, "Finally free from the shackles of that garbage company." And they're referring to Microsoft. And over here, it shows the people who liked it, and Moon Studios liked that comment. Interesting, very interesting. Then we continue to, yeah, like this post right here. Moon Studios, the developer behind Ori and the Blind Forest and its sequel, is reportedly an oppressive place to work that has a myriad issues of crunch, verbal abuse, and poor organization. This is according to a new report by GamesBeat, which reports that Xbox is no longer working with the studio following what was said to be a difficult relationship, and that was like 2 years ago. So yeah, this right here, they're free from the shackles of a garbage company, and Moon Studios liked it. But over here, it's this tweet here. So Thomas Mahler, I believe, who is the head of Moon Studios, says, "Appreciate all the messages about wanting to support Moon. Best way you can do this is just buying Ori. It's really good, I promise." It's the Will of the Wisps, their newer Ori game. This is March 3rd, 2024, so very recent. And this person says, "Why not on Xbox?" And the Ori head says, "Because then people get it on Game Pass, and that doesn't help Moon. Happy face." Then another person says, "I'd love it if both Ori games came to PlayStation. I'm sure many others are hoping that happens too." And then the head of Ori, or the head of Moon Studio, says, "Then please let Xbox E3, also known as Phil Spencer, know of that. It's not in our hands, happy face. So he's basically saying, yeah, our Ori games are stuck on Xbox because of Phil Spencer. So he's basically, Phil isn't as, oh, we're open to multi-platforms and putting our games on other platforms as he says he is. And yeah, he's basically saying if you get it on Game Pass, it does not help us. But here's the thing, here's the issue that I have with this, because I'm going to put on my tin hat here. I'm putting on my tin hat for Xbox, for Microsoft. I'm gonna be an Xbot real quick and defend Xbox here. You made a deal with Microsoft. You signed a contract. You made a deal that Microsoft will help publish this game. They'll help develop it, publish it, advertise it, show it at E3. They pushed it out, marketed it. Microsoft helped you build it too. They sent devs over. Microsoft helped you make this game, and you had some sort of deal with them and contract in place and signed for a certain amount of money and a certain amount of help in advertising. And you got whatever money you got for being on Game Pass. There's many games on Xbox Game Pass, and don't think these games on Game Pass are there to lose money. They made a deal with Microsoft to where these developers and publishers are like, yeah, we would make more money putting it on Game Pass and taking that deal than just keeping it off Game Pass and just selling more copies on our own. So you got this Moon Studio, you guys probably got a good deal. You put it on Game Pass, and now that you're not with Microsoft anymore, and for the last 2 years, you want to throw shade and say, oh, well, if you buy it on Game Pass, it doesn't help us. Now, that is true. It is true, probably. You buy it on Steam for full price, it'll help you guys because you're buying a copy of your game. When you just you pay $10 for a month of Game Pass, that money doesn't go to you. Your game is just on there. You already got that money already, whatever the deal was. So I understand that part when he says it doesn't help us, and it's true, but it still is coming out. It's still coming across as if Microsoft did something bad and we didn't want anything to do with our game being on Game Pass. You did want your game to be on Game Pass. And when you say, have Phil Spencer put our game on PlayStation, ask him, it's up to him. Well, that was a part of the deal too. That you signed that deal. You signed to not have it on other platforms. You could have just developed it on your own or got in another publisher and then put it on other platforms. Your deal with Microsoft, them helping you fund it and market and everything, and then putting it on Game Pass and PC was the best deal for you, and you took it. So you cannot be salty now that they're keeping it on Xbox and it's still on Game Pass. That was a part of the deal. And when they say free from the shackles of that garbage company and they like to comment, it just seems like they did not part in good they didn't part ways in good terms. That's just what that seems like. So that's my take on that. If that's even a word. That's my take on it. I just think, listen, you signed that contract to have that deal to be on Game Pass. Games would not be on Game Pass if they were going to lose money from that. Or not lose money. They wouldn't go on Game Pass if it was a bad decision for them. A publisher and developer would not make a game, put it on Game Pass, and then say, oh, we would have made $50 million more selling it ourselves without Game Pass. No. They looked at the numbers, and Game Pass was the best thing they could do. So yeah, guys, comment down below what you think. It'd be fun to get a discussion going about this. Feel free to subscribe. And like I said, trying to build a cute little community here with the Wolf Guy channel. And yeah, is Microsoft wrong? Is Moon Studios wrong? Sounds like they had a toxic work environment. And based on the head of Moon Studios with liking that comment and then those tweets, it does sound like it probably was pretty toxic. I don't know. But, yep, see you guys in the next video.